Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 87, the praise of the personified Vedas, text 31. No, sorry, 32, right? Nreshu tava mayaya brahmamamishvavagatya brisham Tvai sudhiyo bhavedadati bhavam anuprabhavam Khatam anuvartatam bhavabhayam tavayad bhrukuti Srujati muhustrinemi rabhavacharane shubhayam Nreshu tava mayaya brahmamamishvavagatya brisham Tvai sudhiyo bhave dadati bhavam anuprabhavam Katham anuvartatam bhavabhayam tavayad bhrukuti Srujati muhustrineme trinemi rabhavacharane shubhayam Nreshu tava mayaya brahmamamishvavagatya brisham Tvai sudhiyo bhave dadati bhavam anuprabhavam Katam anuvartatam bhavabhayam tavayad bhrukuti Srujati muhustrinemi rabhavacharane shubhayam Matajis? Word to word meaning? Rishu, among humans. Tava, your. Mayaya, by the illusory energy. Brahmam, bewilderment. Amishu, among these. Avagatya, understanding. Bhrisham, fervent. Tvai, unto you. Sudhiya, those who are wise. Abhave, unto the source of liberation. Dadati, render. Bhavam, loving service. Anuprabhavam, potent. Katham, how. Anuvartatam, for those who follow you faithfully. Bhava, of material life. Bhayam, fear. Tava, your. Yat, sins. Bhru, of the eyebrows. Kuti, the furrowing. Srujati, creates. Muhu, repeatedly. Trinemi, three-rimmed. In the three phases of time, namely past, present and future. Not. Bhavat, from you. Sharaneshu, for those who take shelter. Bhayam, fear. Translation: the wise souls who understand how your Maya deludes all human beings render potent loving service to you, who are the source of liberation from birth and death. How indeed can fear of material life affect your faithful servants? On the other hand, your furrowing eyebrows, the triple-rimmed wheel of time, repeatedly terrify those who refuse to take shelter of you. Purport: the Vedas reveal the most cherished secret, devotional service to the personality of Godhead, only to those who are tired of material illusion, which is based on a false sense of independence from the Lord. The Vajasaneyi Samhita of the White Yajur Veda contains the following mantra: Paritya Bhutani Paritya Lokan Paritya Sarvaha Pradisho Dishascha Upasthaya Prathama Jamritasya Manatmanam Abhisamvivesha. After passing beyond all the species of life, all the planetary systems, and all the limits of space in all directions, one approaches the original soul of immortality. Then one receives the opportunity to enter permanently into his domain and worship him with personal service. The proponents of various contending materialistic philosophies may consider themselves very wise, but they are in fact all deluded by the Supreme Lord's Maya. Vaishnavas recognize this pattern of general delusion and submit themselves to the Supreme Lord in the devotional moods of servitude, friendship, and so on. Instead of the heat and strife of philosophical quarrel, the pure Vaishnavas experience only delight at every moment, because the object of their love is he who brings an end to material entanglement. And the devotees of Lord Vishnu enjoy constant pleasure not only in this life but in future lives. In whatever births they take, they enjoy loving reciprocations with the Lord. Thus, the sincere Vaishnava prays, Nathayoni sahasreshu yeshu yeshu brahmamyaham tatra tatra achyuta bhaktir achyutastu dhrida tvai. Wherever I may wander, O Master, among thousands of species of life, in each situation may have firmly fixed devotion to you, O Achyuta. Vishnu Puran. Some philosophers will question how the Vaishnavas can overcome their material entrapment without thorough analytical knowledge of the entities, Tvam, you, the Jiva, and Tat, that, the Supreme, and without developing a sufficient hatred of material life. The personified Vedas here answer that there is no chance of material illusion continuing to act on devotees of the Lord, because even in the earliest stages of devotional service, all fear and attachment are removed by the Lord's grace. Time is the root cause of all fear in this world. Indeed, with its three divisions of past, present, and future, it creates terror at the prospect of impending disease, death, and hellish suffering, but only for those who have failed to obtain shelter at the feet of the Supreme Lord. As the Lord himself says in the Ramayana Lankakand 1833, Sakrid eva prapanno yas tavasmiti chayachate abhyam sarvata tasmai dadamyaitad vratam mama. To whomever even once surrenders to me, pleading, I am yours, I give eternal fearlessness. This is my solemn vow. Furthermore, in the Bhagavad-gita 7:14, the Lord says, Devesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Vaishnavas do not like to waste their time in prolonged and fruitless wrangling over dry philosophic subjects. They would rather worship the personality of Godhead than quarrel with philosophical adversaries. The Vaishnava's understanding conquers with the essential message of revealed scripture. These devotees' conception of the Supreme Absolute Truth as the infinite ocean of personality and loving pastimes in his worshipable forms of Krishna, Rama, and other divine manifestations, and their conception of themselves as his eternal servants, amount to the perfect conclusion of Vedanta philosophy in terms of the entities Tat and Tvam. The personality of Godhead and his emanations, such as the Jiva souls, are simultaneously different and non-different, just like the sun and its expanding rays. There are more jivas than anyone can count, and each of them is eternally alive with consciousness, as the Shrutis confirm, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. When they are sent forth from the body of Mahavishnu at the beginning of material creation, the jivas are all equal in the sense that they are all atomic particles of the Lord's marginal energy. But according to the differing conditions, they divide into four groups. Some are covered by ignorance, which obscures their vision like a cloud. Others become liberated from ignorance through a combination of knowledge and devotion. A third group of souls become endowed with pure devotion with a slight mixture of desire for speculative knowledge and fruitive activity. Those souls attain purified bodies composed of perfect knowledge and bliss with which they can engage in the Lord's service. Finally, there are those who are devoid of any connection with ignorance. These are the Lord's eternal associates. The marginal position of the Jiva soul is described in the Narada Pancharatra. Yat tatastam tu chidrupam swa samvedyad vinirgatam ranjitam gunaragena sa jiva iti katyate. The tatastha potency should be understood as emanating from the Lord's samvit energy. This emanation, called the jiva, becomes conditioned by the qualities of material nature. Because the minute jiva lives within the margin between the Lord's external illusory potency maya and his internal spiritual potency chit, the jiva is called tatastha, marginal. When he earns liberation by cultivating devotion to the Lord, however, he comes completely under the shelter of the Lord's internal potency, and at that time he is no longer tainted by the modes of material nature. Lord Krishna confirms this in Bhagavad-gita 14:26. Mam chaya vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. The object of the soul's worship is realized in three aspects: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. Impersonal Brahman is like the radiant effulgence of the sun, the supersoul or Paramatma is like the sun globe, and the personality of Godhead Bhagwan is like the presiding deity within the sun, complemented by his elaborate entourage and paraphernalia. Or to cite another analogy, travelers approaching a city from a distance cannot at first distinguish its features, but rather see something vaguely shining ahead of them. As they come closer, they may discern a few of the taller buildings. Then when they are sufficiently close, they will see the city as it is, a bustling metropolis with many citizens, residences, public buildings, highways, and parks. In the same way, persons inclined to impersonal meditation may at best gain some realization of the Supreme Lord's effulgence Brahman. Those who approach closer can learn to see him as the Lord in his heart Paramatma, and those who come very close can know him in his full personality Bhagwan. In summary, Sridhar Swami prays, Samsara chakra krakachair vidirnam udinanana bhavata pataptam kathanchidapannamiha prapannam tvamuddhara Shri Narhare Nrilokam. O Shri Narhari, please deliver those human beings who have suffered all kinds of torments and been ripped apart by the sharp edge of samsara's wheel, but who have now somehow found you and are surrendering themselves unto you. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratvashe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. I'd like to seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas present here, especially senior Vaishnavas, His Holiness Ananta Krishna Goswami Maharaj and Brajari Prabhu, Ramru Prabhu, and also some senior devotees present over here, seeking your blessings to be able to discuss on this verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam from the 87th chapter of the 10th canto, the prayers of the personified Vedas, a chapter which most devotees think this is little difficult. And maybe some of us would prefer to skip this chapter also. Thinking, amongst all the beautiful pastimes of Lord Krishna in the 10th canto, why is this chapter here? Filled with so much of philosophical discussion about the absolute truth. But then, the personified Vedas, who are also emanations from the Supreme Lord, are speaking all these wonderful prayers to glorify the Supreme Lord. And as far as we are concerned, the more we understand this tattva about the Supreme Lord, the more our surrender, respect, and love for the Supreme Lord can increase. So just like if some personality walks over here and nobody recognizes him, so who cares? Okay, some person has come. But if one recognizes that this is the Prime Minister of India, then what will happen? One's entire attitude, behavior, everything will change towards that person. So similarly, we are worshipping SriSriRadhaRasbihari not just because he's very beautiful, Not just because there is a lot of delicious Mahaprasadam available here, or for any other reason, but we ought to worship Him because it is our constitutional duty to do so. And so therefore, to understand the tattva, janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha. So many places in the Bhagavad-gita, Krishna speaks about understanding Him tattvataha, in truth, understanding the tattva. And so therefore, these prayers are being presented for our benefit so that we know the tattva of the absolute truth. And so in the previous verses, the personified Vedas have spoken philosophy about the living entities and how the living entities come into this world along with material nature. And by a combination of both of them, they come into this material world. And so here, what is being described is that those who are wise, sudhiya, those who are wise, sudhiya. So, they do not simply try to philosophize and simply try to speculate about the Supreme Lord, because they perfectly understand that all types of bewildering philosophies, concocted philosophies, deviant philosophies, all of them are also manifestation of the Lord's Maya Shakti. In one lecture, Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna gives intelligence to the atheists to write volumes of books denying His existence. So even somebody has to write an atheistic book denying the Lord's existence. Who has to give intelligence? Krishna only has to give intelligence. So, based upon the influence of the three modes and the jiva's desires, then so many people come up with so many philosophies. And in India especially, of course, even in the Western world, so many philosophies. So therefore they are saying, no, we don't want to get bewildered by all these different philosophies. Rather, what we want to do is, we want to take shelter. We want to take shelter. We want to dadati bhavam. We want to render loving service with bhava. Dadati bhavam. Unto whom? Abhave. We want to render service, bhavam, loving service, to one who helps us get out of bhava, abhave, out of bhavabandhan. So we want to render service unto him. So otherwise, they're saying, what will be the consequence if one does not do that? If one does not do that, then the result will be bhava bhayam. If one does not render service to the Supreme Lord, who can give us liberation, the result will be bhaya. Bhaya of this bhava, of this material life. And in material life, why everyone is under bhayam? Because in this material world, tava yat bhrukuti, srijati muhu trinemi. In this material world, they are saying that your bhrukuti, your eyebrows, furrowing of your eyebrows. So when Krishna just has to raise his eyebrows, and then what happens? Then muhu trinemi. So there is a three-rimmed wheel What are the three rims? Past, present, future. So everyone is under the influence of this wheel, samsara chakra, which is being controlled or which has the aspects of past, present and future. So for one, abhavat sharaneshu bhayam, abhavat. For one who does not take shelter, then one is forced to take shelter of this samsara chakra. And samsara chakra, in another place is mentioned, the samsara chakra crushes everyone under its influence. Nobody is spared. So in the purport, the first sentence, very important sentence, the Vedas reveal their most cherished secret, devotional service to the personality of Godhead, only to those who are tired of material illusion, which is based on a false sense of independence from the Lord. As the Brahma Samhita says, Vedeshu durlabham adhullabham atma bhaktau. So one may study all the Vedas, but still the essence of the Vedas, that is bhakti, is very difficult to realize. Because one is totally dependent on the Lord's grace to get that realization. Vedesya sarver aham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda ved eva chaham. The essence of all the Vedas is to understand Krishna by devotional service. But people may go through all the Vedas, Karma Kand, Jnana Kand, Upasana Kand, and still not come to what is the essence. Because it requires some mercy. As Lord Brahma, in his prayers after the Brahma Vimohan Leela, he says, Athapide deva padambujadvaya prasaduleshanugrihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanyameko pichiram vichinvan. One can go on speculating for a very long time, but yet not understand the supreme absolute truth in tattva. So what is required for one to understand? Prasad lesha nugrihita evahi. At least a small trace of prasad, mercy of the Supreme Lord is required. Otherwise, somebody could be as scholarly as Sarvam Bhattacharya. Even great sannyasis and learned scholars all over India would go to Sarvam Bhattacharya to study under him. He was such a great scholar. But still, when Gopinath Patnaik was presenting to him that how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was giving so many Shastric references, Gopinath Acharya, to show how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord. Still he could not understand. He was counter-arguing. He was saying, now the Shastras say the Supreme Lord is Tri-Yugi. He does not come in Kali Yuga. So how are you saying? This person here, the Supreme Lord is lying right in front of him. Right in front of him. Still he cannot understand. So people say, can you show me God? But the question is, even if God were to be in front of you, can you recognize? So many people saw. When Krishna was performing his pastimes in this world, so many people saw. Shishupal saw. Duryodhan saw. So many demons saw. Could they understand? Not understand. So without the grace of the Supreme Lord coming through the Vaishnavas, it is not possible to understand. And so, here what is being described is, in the elaborate commentaries, it is being described that the jiva part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, Mamevamshu Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. He is Tatastha Shakti. So he is in between the external Bahiranga Shakti and the Chit Shakti, the internal potency. And so therefore the Jiva has a choice to either take shelter of the Bahiranga Shakti or the internal potency. So when he decides by his own free will, he decides not to take shelter of the Supreme Lord, then immediately, in order to facilitate his enjoyment in this world, he is put under the influence of the avidya potency of Mahamaya. So avidya covers him, so that he thinks all this is meant for my enjoyments. That is what he thinks. Unless he thinks like that, how will he try to enjoy? So that is why he is put under the avidya potency. And so when he is put under the avidya potency, then the next thing that happens is asmita. He develops false ego, thinking I am this body. This body is meant for enjoyment. Everything connected with this body is meant for my enjoyment. So that is his false ego, asmita. So then next what happens? He tries to enjoy. So whatever is good for enjoyment, there's raga, there's attachment. Whatever is not good for sense gratification, there is dvesha, there is hatred. And very soon he gets absorbed in this raga and dvesha. He gets absorbed in trying to get objects for sense enjoyment, enjoy them, and avoid those things which are not conducive for sense enjoyment. And this absorption is called as abhinivesh. He gets absorbed. And he gets so absorbed in this that when he understands that all this raga and dvesha is going to come to an end by the force of time. That is what is being described here. The Supreme Lord's Bhruguti, that is time. So then when he understands that, there is fear of death. So these are the 5 basic causes of kleshas in this world. Suffering. What? Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha and abhinivesh. So maybe you heard this story of this experiment which this scientist did with a rat. So the scientist named Pavlov, who is said to be the father of human psychology. So he performed this experiment with the rat. He put the rat in a cage. The cage had 2 platforms. When the rat would touch one platform, the rat would get a piece of cake. When he would touch the other platform, he would get electric shock. So obviously, the rat developed attachment to what? The cake. The platform which was giving the cake. So every time he would touch that platform, he would get a nice piece of cake. He would touch the other platform, he would get electric shock. So he figured that out. Then after some time, the scientist changed. He interchanged the platforms. So for some time he was bewildered. Arey, what's happening? Here electric shock, I was getting cake. What happened? Anyway, after some time he figured out. And in this way the scientist kept interchanging. And then after some time, what the scientist did? He opened the door of the cage and he kept a piece of cake outside the cage. And guess what the rat did? Did he go out? No. He was so busy figuring out which platform is going to give cake and which platform is going to give electric shock. He did not even notice that the door of the cage was open. And that is what happens to all of us in this material world. So one is so busy with this raga and dvesha business, trying to get what I like, what I enjoy, and trying to avoid that which gives misery. And all people are running in this world only for these two businesses, raga, dvesha, raga, dvesha. This is what is going on. Business of this world is raga and dvesha. So everyone gets so busy with this that the door of the cage of this material world is open. It's open or no? It is open for every jiva to get out. But nobody sees that there is a way to go out. Everyone is busy with this raga and dvesha business. And so therefore, because of this raga and dvesha, everyone is put into bhayam. That is what is being said here. Bhava bhayam. In this material world, there is bhayam, fear. Srila Prabhupada writes, amongst the four main problems of this world, what are the four main problems? Eating, sleeping, mating, fearing. Out of these four, the most prominent is fear. The fear problem is most prominent. Because this three-rimmed wheel, past, present, future, this causes a lot of fear. So usually there's a lot of fear about the future, isn't it? So one who has good health, he fears losing it. Therefore we find people are going to the gym and doing so many things, so much conscious about their diet and so many things. Why? They are in fear of losing their good health. Somebody who has wealth, he is afraid of losing his wealth. In the 7th canto, 13th chapter, the Avadut Brahman is describing to Prahlad Maharaj his realization. He says, I have seen, Pashyami, I have seen that a person who has a lot of wealth, he is under so much of fear. He is fearful of losing it. There are so many people out there to take the wealth. And of course, people try so many different ways to avoid those people, right? Who are there to take wealth. Like thieves, government officials. So many people are there waiting to take wealth. Ramru Prabhu says the Hare Krishna devotees are also waiting. But that's good. So many people are there. Of course, if not Hare Krishna devotees, there are other people also. Ganpati people also. Anyway. So many people are there. And so the person is so fearful of losing. And he says, not only he is fearful of all these people, but he is even fearful of himself. Swasmat. Why? Because he thinks when he keeps the money in his cupboard, as soon as he comes out, he thinks, did I lock it properly? If I locked it, where did I keep the key? So in this way, he becomes afraid of even himself. And so the person who has a lot of wealth, who earns a lot of wealth to lead a peaceful life, he does not even get sleep. So he's earning wealth for what? To lead peaceful life, right? But the very wealth which is supposed to give him peace and happiness becomes the cause of losing the peace and happiness. So much so that he cannot even get sleep. And he has to take sleeping pills. And Srila Prabhupada writes that sometimes even the sleeping pills don't work. But I really doubt if any devotee ever has to take sleeping pills. We usually tend to have some other problem, right? But that is the case of this material world. So much of fear, so much of bhayam. Because there's a fear of losing what one likes, what one is attached to. There's always a fear. So practically at every moment there is fear. So what is the root cause of fear? So in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, where the Navyogendras are speaking to Maharaj Nimi, so we know this famous verse. Bhayam dvitiya abhiniveshata syat ishadapetasya viparyayo smriti. So the root cause of bhayam is dvitiya abhinivesh. Abhinivesh, we just saw, abhinivesh is absorption. Dvitiya means a second person, something other than Isha. There is absorption is something other than Krishna. Dvitiya. That means what? There is absorption in what? In material life. There is absorption in one's own body. There is absorption in everything connected to the body. So when there is absorption in all these things, besides Krishna, one is absorbed in so many other things. And as far as Isha is concerned, as far as Supreme Lord is concerned, Isha apetasya. He has turned away from Isha. And because of turning away from Isha, the result is what? Viparyaya asmriti. He misidentifies himself with the body and forgets the Supreme Lord. Two examples are given in this connection. Just like a small child. As soon as the small child sees that mother is not around, what happens? Fear. Immediately there's fear. Immediately the child starts crying because he thinks there's nobody to protect. Second example that is given is the citizens of a country. As soon as citizens understand that there's no one to protect them, there is fear. So similarly, when one forgets Krishna, when one forgets that there is no supreme power to protect me, immediately there is fear. So the root cause of fear in material life is forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. And not only human beings of this world, but all the living entities in all the three worlds are affected by fear. And everyone is afraid of the powerful energy of the Supreme Lord in the form of time. Because as Krishna says, Kalosmi, and in the form of time, Krishna destroys everyone and everything. No one can say, I am free from the influence of Kala. And therefore, in the Bhagavad-gita, 11th canto, 10th chapter, 30th verse, Supreme Lord is telling Uddhav, Lokanam lokapalanam madbhayam kalpajivinam brahmanopi bhayam matto dviparardha parayushaha. So it's Lokanam, Lokapalanam, all the devatas who are the controllers of all the planets and all the living entities who live for one kalpa, one day of Brahma. So all these jivas, madbhayam, they are afraid of me. So somebody may say, oh, we are not afraid. We are not afraid of the Supreme Lord. So Srila Prabhupada says, okay, somebody says, I'm not afraid of the Supreme Lord, I don't care for the Supreme Lord, then the person will definitely have to see the Supreme Lord when? At the time of death. Kala. Nobody escapes. Including, he's saying, Brahmano api bhayam matto. Including who? Brahma. Even Brahma is afraid. That Brahma who lives for Dviparardha. Parardha is Brahma's 50 years. So he lives for his 50 years, twice 50, that means his 100 years. So he lives for such a long time, his total life is how much? 311 trillion 40 billion years he stays. But Krishna himself is saying, he is also afraid because at a certain point of time, his life is also going to come to an end. So everyone becomes afraid of death. The influence of time. And so therefore, the influence of the material energy is extremely powerful. And everyone comes under its influence. And therefore, Prabhupada is quoting from Bhagavad-gita, the commentators. Devesha gunamayi mammaya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So everyone is under the influence of the three modes, which are compared to three thick ropes. Prabhupada gives the example, just like we have the thick ropes for pulling Lord Jagannath's cart. So ropes are intertwined to make it very thick. And so similarly, everyone is bound by these three modes. And a person can only imagine himself to be independent. But there is no independence. Because everyone is bound by the three modes. And as long as one is bound by the three modes, the result is going to be fear. Fear of material existence. Fear of miseries. So what's the solution? So here in this verse, the personified Vedas are presenting the problem as well as the solution. So what is the solution? The solution is to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. There is no other solution. And so therefore, in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila, this is third canto, 25th verse, 25th chapter, 43rd verse, Lord Kapila is saying, Jnana Vairagya Yuktena Bhakti Yogena Yogina Kshemaya Padamulam Me Pravishanti Akuto Bhayam. So if one wants to be free from fear, Akuto Bhayam. So then what one has to do? Bhakti Yogena, Yogina. The yogi has to perform Bhakti Yoga along with which produces Jnana Vairagya Yuktena. And so then this Bhakti Yoga is for Kshemaya. Kshemaya, for his ultimate benefit. The ultimate benefit is practicing Bhakti Yoga. And the result will be if one takes shelter of Pad Moolam Pravishanti, if one takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the result will be Akuto Bhayam. One will be free from fear because one has full faith that Krishna is here to protect at every point of time. And so, in the third canto of the Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila describes that how a materialistic person who is about to die, what is the situation? He's in so much of fear. He may see the Yamadutas. He passes urine and stool in the bed. And then his throat is filled with mucus. And he is seeing his friends and relatives. And the friends and relatives are weeping and crying. And he wants to say something to them. But he cannot say. His throat is filled with mucus, and only thing that comes out is what? Gar, 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 gar. Only that comes out. And they are crying. He wants to say something. He cannot say anything. And he knows that everything is going to be snatched away from him. All that he has accumulated since so many long years with so much of endeavor, he has to leave everything. Not even a broken needle can be taken along with him. And that causes so much of pain. Pain at the time of death, as they say, More than 40 billion scorpions biting. Why? Because everything is being taken away. That which one is so attached to, if you're attached to something, anything, and if that is being taken away, what happens? There's a lot of pain, isn't it? If you're attached to anything of this world, besides Krishna, even as devotees, if you're attached to positions, facilities, or anything of this world, it is going to cause pain, because 100% for sure it is going to be taken away. Mrityu sarva harascha aham. Krishna is going to take it away. And therefore, so recently we all saw, everyone went, right? To see what? Maha-avatar, Narsimhadev. And so, Prahlad Maharaj in his prayers, he says, 7th canto, 9th chapter, 23rd verse, he says, I have seen. And of course, we all have seen. He says, I have seen with my own eyes this, my father, Hiranyakashipu. So just like here it is mentioned, what? Regarding the Supreme Lord, Bhruguti. So there, Hiranyakashipu, what he said? He also said the same thing, right? He also said, what? I am God. And everyone in all the sacrifices, they should worship Bhagavan Hiranyakashipu. And when he would also raise his eyebrows, what would happen? Everyone would be so fearful. We have seen all the devatas, including Indra, so fearful. But Prahlad Maharaj says, I have seen, my dear Lord, I have seen in front of my eyes this, my father, so powerful, controlling all the three worlds, all the universes. But you have finished him. In how much time? In a moment, you have finished him. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj says, Tasmad amustanubratam aham ashishogya ayushriyam vibhavam endriyam avirincyat nicchamite vilulitan uruvikramena kalat manopanayamam nijabhritya parshvam. So he says, Tasmad, therefore, my dear Lord, all the Tanubritam, all the living entities who have got Tanu, who have got bodies, they want so many Ashish. What Ashish? Blessings. Everyone goes to saintly person for what? Ashirvad. Blessings. For what? For something material. What material things they want? Ayu, Shriyam, Vibhavam. And they want long life. They want beauty. So those who are beautiful, we were talking about fear, those who are beautiful, like film actors, actresses, what is their greatest fear? Wrinkles on the face, gray hair. As soon as they see that, they get heart attack. Some even commit suicide. Fear. So they want Ayu, Shriyam, Vibhavam. They want influence, control, glories. All for what? Indriyam. Everything for sense gratification. Avirinchyat. Virinchyat means Brahma. From Brahma to the Kita. Brahma Gopa. So all the living entities, what they want? They want Ashish. They want blessings of all the material things. But Prahlad Maharaj says, Na ichchami. I do not want all this. By the influence of the material energy, everyone is thinking this is the perfection of life, to get all these material things. And sometimes even after coming to spiritual life, one may get bewildered, distracted by so many material allurements of this world. Prahlad Maharaj says, Na ichchami. Why? Vilulitan uru vikramena kala. He says, by your powerful energy as Kala, everything is going to vilulitan. Lupta ho jayega. Gayab ho jayega. Everything is going to disappear. We cannot hold on to anything of this world. So, if I'm not able to hold on to anything of this world, why not voluntarily give it up before it is snatched away and then it becomes so painful? So he says, I don't want. Okay, then what do you want? You want something? So Prahlad Maharaj says, what do I want? Mam nijabritya parshvam. What do I want? I want service to your servant, Narad Muni. That is what I want. Because that is the only thing that is eternal. The soul is eternal, the Supreme Lord is eternal, and devotional service is eternal. That is the only things that are eternal. Everything else is going to be taken away. Everything that is present now is very soon going to become past. One moment gone, finished. It has gone into the past. So as they say, the past is history and the future is mystery. What is in our hands? Only the present moment. Only that moment is within our hands. And therefore, we have a choice to make the best use of the present moment rather than lamenting about the past and dreaming about the future. Better make best use of the moment at hand by taking shelter of the Lord's lotus feet through his pure devotees, and then we can be saved from this three-nami, this three-rimmed wheel of Kala Chakra. One can be saved and one can be free from this fear of material existence, which engulfs all the living entities, as we just read, Lord Kapila saying, from Brahma to the smallest, everyone is under this fear. But we find that the devotees are free from this fear. Shukdev Goswami, in the 11th canto, 29th chapter, 49th verse, he says, I offer my obeisances to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original and greatest of all beings, Lord Shri Krishna. He is the author of the Vedas, and just to destroy his devotees' fear of material existence, like a bee, he has collected this nectarian essence of all knowledge and self-realization. Thus he has awarded to his many devotees this nectar from the ocean of bliss. By his mercy, they have drunk it. So, the Supreme Lord, in order to award abhayam to his devotees, what he has given? He has given the nectar. Just like the bees go to so many flowers, they don't destroy the flowers, right? But they take the essence of the flower, that is the nectar. So similarly, the Supreme Lord, he has maintained all the various aspects of the Vedas. Karmakand, Jnanakand, Upasnakand, everything is there. But for his devotees, he presents the essence. And that is what the first sentence of the purport. The Vedas reveal the most cherished secret devotional service to the personality of Godhead only to those who are tired of material illusion, frustrated with this material world of miseries. To them, to the devotees, Krishna presents the essence, that is pure devotional service, the nectar. And one who has tasted that nectar of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, then he is awarded abhayam, fearlessness. And therefore, Even though the materialistic people may say, what is the difference? Devotees are dying, materialists are dying. What is the difference? So Srila Prabhupada explains with the help of well-known analogy, and that is, he has the cat, the rat, and the kitten. So cat is holding the kitten also in her mouth, and the rat also in the mouth. But the kitten feels great comfort, fearlessness. But the rat, death personified, so much of fear. And so therefore, we have examples of devotees within our own movements who left this world without fear of death. And the best example, who showed us the art of living and the art of dying, is His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, who led a life, a perfect life of Krishna consciousness until his last breath. He was giving us the Bhaktivedanta purports till his last breath. And surrounded by devotees, in the association of devotees, lovingly chanting the holy names, went back to the spiritual world. And following in his footsteps, we have his glorious disciples, like His Holiness Sridhar Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Bhaktitit Swami Maharaj, and recently His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, who led such exemplary lives of devotion and till the last breaths, serving Srila Prabhupada, serving the mission of Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON, and remembering the Supreme Lord, they left without any symptom, the least symptom of fear, but in a state of full satisfaction and happiness. And that is what the personified Vedas are teaching us, that we can be saved from this terrible samsara chakra, which is grinding everyone. This is Prahlad Maharaj, he says in his prayers, it's grinding everyone. We can be saved from that chakra, the Kala chakra, and be in a state of total fearlessness. Bhajahu re mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charana Ravintare. That is possible by taking shelter of the Supreme Lord and His devotees through the sincere chanting of His holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. If any of the senior devotees would like to comment, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Wonderful class. One disciple asked Srila Prabhupada what it means to be on the highest level of consciousness. Then Srila Prabhupada promptly replied, to become fearless. Then Prabhupada writes in 4th canto, 24th chapter, unless somebody becomes fearless, he cannot be joyful. Unless one is joyful, he cannot perform devotion service. So you were mentioning about these 5 coverings. Asmita and avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha and abnivesh. So in this regard, Srila Prabhupada quoted, there is one verse in 4th canto, 22nd chapter. Yatha ratir brahmani naishtiki puman acharyavan jnana vairagya brahmasa dahati aviryam hridayam jivakosham panchatmakam yonir iva agni. So in this regard, Srila Prabhupada writes that anybody who develops taste for hearing about Krishna, this panchatmakam consisting of these 5, they will become burnt into ashes.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. And so therefore, just to add another point, so therefore, the devotee also, he has another type of fear. As Srila Prabhupada did say, my only fear is that my devotees are not sufficiently afraid of Maya. And so the fear of a devotee is coming under the influence of Maya and losing Krishna. That is the fear of a devotee. And so we find that the devotees, we have this pastime of how Rukmini Devi, Krishna's consort, she was fearful when Krishna was sort of teasing her. She was fearful that Krishna might leave me. And she fainted in that fear. The queens of Dwarka, the queens of Vaikuntha, they're serving the Supreme Lord to attract His grace so that Krishna does not leave them. So the devotee's fear is losing Krishna and coming under the influence of the material energy. That is the fear for a devotee. And so therefore, that's a healthy fear. That fear a devotee needs to have. So then the devotee will always be alert to always remember Krishna by following Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Okay, is there any question? Okay.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, अभी आप क्लास में बता रहे थे कि भगवान की शरण लेनी चाहिए शुद्ध भक्तों के माध्यम से, लेकिन आज इस्कॉन में ही इस्कॉन का एक वर्ग ऐसा प्रचार कर रहा है कि देखिए हमारे जैसे बद्ध जीव जो हैं ये प्रभुपाद को तो समझ नहीं सकते हैं, प्रभुपाद को समझना बहुत मुश्किल है हमारे जैसे बद्ध जीवों के लिए, तो बेटर है कि जो प्रभुपाद के फॉलोअर हैं हम उनको सुने, प्रभुपाद जी को प्रत्यक्ष सुनने से ज्यादा बेटर है। तो प्रभु जी अगर ये स्थिति है तो फिर हम प्रभुपाद की पुस्तकें लोगों को ले जाकर देते हैं, प्रभुपाद के लेक्चर हम बोलते हैं लोग को सुनने के लिए, तो फिर इसका क्या मतलब है प्रभु जी? इसके बारे में जरा आप बताएंगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा।
ठीक है, तो प्रभुपाद जी को समझने के लिए प्रभुपाद जी के आदेश को पालन करना पड़ेगा। सही बात है? आपका क्या कहना है? यस नो?
यस
यस। तो प्रभुपाद जी का आदेश है कि हम उनके ग्रंथों को पढ़ें। प्रभुपाद जी ने कहा है कि मैंने इन ग्रंथों को केवल बांटने के लिए नहीं दिया है, पढ़ने के लिए दिया है। तो क्योंकि ये प्रभुपाद जी का आदेश है तो इसलिए जरूर पढ़ने का प्रयास तो करना चाहिए ना। और उनके लेक्चर्स भी तो प्रभुपाद जी चाहते थे कि हम हर रोज भागवतम क्लास अटेंड करें, प्रभुपाद जी की वाणी को सुने। तो इस्कॉन में जितने भी भक्त हैं जो प्रवचन देते हैं वो किसके ऊपर आधारित है? जो प्रभुपाद जी ने दिया है बुक्स में या लेक्चर्स में, उसके ऊपर आधारित है। फिलॉसफी तो वही है। तो इसलिए प्रभुपाद जी चाहते थे कि हम उनके ग्रंथों को पढ़ें, उनसे श्रवण करें, और अन्य भक्त जो उन्हीं के वाणी को दोहरा रहे हैं उनसे भी हम जरूर श्रवण कर सकते हैं, जरूर करना चाहिए। प्रभुपाद जी चाहते थे कि हर रोज भागवतम क्लास में जो भी प्रवक्ता है उनसे जरूर श्रवण करना चाहिए, प्रभुपाद जी का आदेश है। तो इसलिए जो प्रभुपाद जी का आदेश है, प्रभुपाद जी हमारे फाउंडर आचार्य हैं, तो इसलिए अगर हम उनके आदेशों को पालन करेंगे तो फिर उनकी कृपा से हम उनको समझ पाएंगे और फिर उनकी कृपा से हम भगवान को समझ पाएंगे।
नहीं, मेरा प्रश्न प्रभु जी इसीलिए था क्योंकि आज के डेट में ये चीजें प्रचारित की जा रही हैं तथाकथित, जैसा कि मेरी जानकारी में आया है कि देखिए प्रभुपाद जी को नहीं समझ सकते तो आप प्रभुपाद जी को कम पढ़िए, प्रभुपाद जी को कम सुनिए, हमको ज्यादा सुनिए। तो मेरा प्रश्न मेन ये चीज था प्रभु जी। तो फिर अभी फिलॉसफी की बात करेंगे तो अगर कोई प्रभुपाद जी को सुनता नहीं है, प्रभुपाद जी को पढ़ता नहीं है, तो हम अगर उसको जो बताएंगे कि प्रभुपाद ने ये कहा तो व्यक्ति वही मान के चलेगा ना कि हाँ प्रभुपाद ने कहा होगा।
हाँ, तो इसलिए जो श्रील प्रभुपाद जी ने जो आदेश दिया है उसको हमें पालन करना चाहिए ना। अगर कोई कहता है कि मैं प्रभुपाद जी का फॉलोअर हूं तो फिर प्रभुपाद जी के आदेश को फॉलो करना चाहिए ना। तो अगर कोई कहता है कि प्रभुपाद जी ग्रंथों को पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है लेकिन मुझे सुनो क्योंकि मैं प्रभुपाद जी का फॉलोअर हूं, लेकिन अगर मैं प्रभुपाद जी का फॉलोअर हूं तो प्रभुपाद जी का आदेश को पालन करना चाहिए। और प्रभुपाद जी का आदेश क्या है कि उनके ग्रंथों को पढ़ना चाहिए। तो अगर कोई कहता है कि प्रभुपाद जी के ग्रंथों को पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है तो क्या वो सच में प्रभुपाद जी का फॉलोअर है? तो अगर वो प्रभुपाद जी का फॉलोअर नहीं है तो हम उनसे श्रवण क्यों करें? सही बात है ना?
धन्यवाद प्रभु जी.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, one last question, Nimanita.
Prabhuji, in the purport, this line which you were explaining, that those who have become tired of material things. But Vidurji also says to Maitreya Muni that Sukhaya Karmani Karoti Loko, that people are frustrated, still they are not tired, they are continuing. So then how this line?
Right. So, one may be frustrated. When one is frustrated, one can do so many things out of frustration. Out of frustration, one can commit suicide. Out of frustration, one can approach some rich, wealthy man to get some wealth. One can approach so many other people to get rid of their miseries. One can go to the Devatas. One can resort to so many different things to come out of their frustration. But who will come to devotional service? Who will take shelter of the Supreme Lord? That is only possible by some good fortune when one comes into the association of devotees. That is one's good fortune. Brahmand Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So, by someone's good fortune, by Agyat Sukruti, if one gets the association of a devotee, then in that difficult situation, one can take shelter of the Supreme Lord and the devotees. Just like we have examples of Dhruva Maharaj. So Dhruva Maharaj had a problem, a material problem. He wanted this great kingdom. But he got association of Narad Muni. Of course, first of all, his mother gave him good advice. Then he got association of Narad Muni. So then he became a great devotee. So in that way, everyone may go through difficult situations and trying situations and frustrating situations. But one who is fortunate, then he gets the association of a devotee, and then he gets the real solution to come out of the various problems of material existence. That's one's gospel. Thank you all very much. Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.